What's up, guys? Welcome to my first game review of 2016. I've decided I want to do more of these just every time I beat a game, just on my spare time, to at least talk about it so people know that I've played it. Maybe, who knows, for future stuff they'll want to talk about it and all that good stuff. And as you saw from the video title, I have just beat the game Senran Kagura 2 Deep Crimson for the 3DS. And it's fresh in my mind. I thought, you know what, I'm going to sit down and talk about my experiences with it, what I thought of it, because honestly, normally I talk very, very positively about games. I'm one of those guys who just honestly looks at the bright side, but for once, I was a little slightly disappointed in a game. Now, let it still be said, I still had massive amounts of enjoyment. I mean, I've had games that, many games that I've had even more enjoyment from that I put down, This one I didn't. I played it through, and one of the reasons for that is it is quite short. So I guess I should first off, though, get into my just history with Senran Kagura. So, when it was first announced as, the first one as a 3DS title about literally the creator, who is a god, was like, I just want to see big boobs on 3DS in 3D. And my god, did he do that. And you know what? That delivers on that front, because the 3D in this game is actually one of the best 3D I've ever seen in a 3DS game. Like, it goes in deep, and things actually pop out at you. It's really cool, and if you need some game to show to your parents or whatever how good the 3DS is, don't use this one. Maybe take a still frame of it, but like this would be good if not for the subject matter, and that's why I remembered the game before it was announced for localization, was just because the subject matter about ninjas and they attack each other and their clothes fly off, and I'm one of those guys who literally, for the camp factor, I love it. It's just, and that's what it is. This game is super campy. I will say though, how I actually got into it was I watched the two best friends play. They did a special featuring the PS4 one that's coming out. Spoilers, I'm so buying that the moment I can. And I decided to get the PS Vita one, the first spin-off, the Shinobi Versus, which is it's more like a Dynasty Warriors game, which this isn't, and I'm a little disappointed because it's not the same gameplay. The PS Vita games gameplay are amazing. Like, I'm talking not even like amazing for this type of game, like a game that's not meant for the gameplay, if you will. Some people like it for other purposes. For the PS Vita one, and by extension the PS4 one, have this amazing Dynasty Warriors meets Devil May Cry gameplay that I really, really like. Now, this one, sadly, is more like Devil May Cry as a old school beat 'em up. Like, there are times where you can actually move the camera around and it's full 3D, but for the most part, it's pretty much a 2D beat 'em up, but like with Marvel vs. Capcom style air combos and a Devil May Cry style like Devil Bringer where you can rip yourself to people. And you know what? Honestly, it's pretty good. It's not the best. The lack of a dedicated defend or parry or anything is weird. I think the dash has invincibility, but even when I beat it, I wasn't really sure. It's like if I'm getting hit by an enemy, I don't know what to do, and I guess it goes back to like if it's meant to be like a beat 'em up, which I'm pretty sure it is, because it has many beat 'em up traits. Then it's like, yeah, in those old beat 'em ups you don't have that, but like in old beat 'em ups you don't have huge screen wide attacks, so it's a little iffy with that. But you know what, honestly, I played through on easy and I still had a bit of trouble. Like the final bosses, I was getting right down to the edge, and it was fun. I had fun. There's a lot of characters, actually. I think in total there's 13 with one DLC, and then I guess 2 ultimate forms and whatever. So it's about 15 characters, and they're all very different, and they all are actually super fun. I was a little disappointed going from the PS Vita one where they had a whole 2 more schools. But you know what? Honestly, the playstyles represented here have a lot more depth than the ones that were in the Vita one. So I did enjoy that. In particular, Homura with her 6 swords, I really liked her. Hexa wielding is the coolest thing. And she is totally total ripoff of Dare Masamune from Sengoku Basara. And there was even artwork of her doing, like official artwork of her doing his poses. And I love that. And I don't even care. it's great. And you got a character who uses a minigun, you got giant swords, you got everything you'll expect, and it's good. And like the gameplay, it's a little weird at first. It's not what you think, but once you get into it, you know, it's good. It's passable. The story itself is way more serious than I thought. I heard people say that the DS, well, not the 3DS ones are way more serious than the spin-off Vita ones, and boy is that true. This one is pretty serious. Like, there's moments of funniness, but for the most part, it's serious. You know, like and it really becomes apparent when you face the bosses, which are easily the best part of the game. These bosses, there's I think 6 of them in total, and they're just all huge. Like, well, not like as big as, you know, some games are nowadays, but I mean, compared to what you'd expect, they're huge, and they're actually genuinely scary. Like, when you first see these bosses, you're like, oh my god. Every time you see them for the first time, you're just like, you're shocked, because this game, you know, for its subject matter of literally just originally being, well, let's take ninjas, give them big boobs, and have their clothes fly off, which is fine. You see these, and you're like, oh wow, these are like Shin Megami Tensei crazy demons with stuff, and like the official artwork is like, looks like Okami artwork, which is really cool. Like, it's actually done super amazingly, and you see it during the loading screens, and it's really cool. I don't want to spoil any of the bosses, so I'm not going to put up any footage, plus I don't have any captured myself, but let me just say that it is amazing, some of the bosses, and like, I was getting super hyped from them. And the one thing I will say though, every single boss, despite being terrifying, incorporates breasts in its design in a creative manner, which I found to be one of the most amusing things, because it's like they're still scary, but they still have big boobs, and it's amazing, you know, it's really cool. And finally, not to spoil anything, but the final moment, the post-credit scene, is Bayonetta levels of hype, and like, it's really good. It's like I was playing it, and I got to the ending, and like, yeah, it was good. Then I got to this post-credit scene, and I'm like, no, this is really good. And of course, it's just because that post-credit scene giving me a bit of hype, but it was crazy. They did something so smart. But that comes back to the one problem I have with the game, is that it is short. Like, I bought it a week ago, and I've been playing it, you know, on and off. You know, I'll play it for an hour on the bus, or sit down for 2 hours here or there to play it, and I'm through it, basically. I still have stuff to unlock. The way you get new weapons, which is not in the Vita titles, you actually get new weapon skins, and some of them are more than just skins, some of them are full out totally different. Like, for example, Homura uses 6 swords, right? Well, instead of 6 swords, let's just give her 2 giant, like, Vega claws, which is really cool. I mean, they work the exact way, and they're all have the exact same attack. It's just cosmetic. But you do feel, you know, you go through this one gauntlet sort of thing, you're like, yeah, I want to try and work and unlock them, because it's cool. You know, the one thing I saw, the first one I saw, was you can get lightsabers for Homura and Asuka, and that's good. I like that. That's a good meme, you know. And I guess another good thing is, unlike the Vita titles, there's actually a lot of customization options that aren't DLC. You actually get a lot of hair and a lot of good stuff that isn't. There is DLC, which I'll probably be getting in the future. There's 3 packs. One where you play as the Nendoroid versions of them, so like the ultra deformed, which is going to be funny. There's one that turns it into a shooter, like a side-scrolling, you know, like old-school style shooter. That'll be interesting. And then finally, the last DLC is a set of missions literally surrounding around the fact that Mirai, the one lolly in the cast, who I will say, I don't like lollies in media, but man, she is the best lolly there is. It's about her, all of a sudden she wakes up one day and she's got breasts, and the whole purpose of the DLC is so that you can give any character any size of breasts that you want, from Mirai, which is literally the flattest you can get, to, I think it was something really funny, the last one. I think it was like, I forget what it is, but it's like they're like apples, oranges, watermelons. You know, it's like, it's that sort of scale. It's pretty funny, and I really like it. And that's one thing, the character customization is really good. you're gonna miss some of the stuff if you don't get the DLC, because there are DLC costumes that are part of it, but it's not that big a deal. And as DLC, or if you own the have save data from the first one, you do actually get a guy character to play as, and he is subject to all the stuff that the female characters go through: clothes flying off, the sexy pose when you kill them, and you know what? It's all for comedy, but I'll take it. But yeah, like, the new characters for this aren't the best, but they're not terrible. They're definitely, they feel sort of like, I guess for lack of a better term, it's like, they feel like characters introduced in, say, like an Iron Man 2, where it's like, it's kind of a middle, or like an Age of Ultron, where it's like, they're good, but they don't really, they're not amazing in the grand scheme of things, and whatever. She is the one character, actually both of them together as one character are DLC for the PS4 one, and that'll be good, because her actual fighting style is really cool. Ripped from Sengoku Basara, this time by the, I think it's Kanbei Kuroda, the prison guy, ripped right from him, but you know what, that's fine. And all in all, no, it was fun. One thing I will say, and this is just kind of my problem, because I've played so many Japanese games, watched so much anime, I'm such a nerd, that when they're speaking, I sort of can take a guess at what they're saying, right? But, like, the text is very loosely translated. Like, it's very localized. It's not a word-to-word, translation. There's a lot of changes, and if you speak a lick of Japanese, any little bit, you'll be like, oh yeah, they're totally going off script, Some small changes aren't that bad, instead of saying, like, when they do their whole, like, thing where it's like, I will dance to the will of the shadows or whatever, in the Japanese version, they very clearly say their own name, but then they just replace it with I. That happens a lot. You'll have one character say baka 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 baka, which means idiot, over and over, but in the text, it'll say a different insult for each time, which isn't wrong, but it's an interesting localization choice, and that's in all the Senran Kagura games. And you know what? It doesn't bother me that much, because honestly, it's a good localization. The characters sound like they're not just translated from anime, but it kind of, that some people might dislike that. I think it's fine. And the music is really good. I got the digital version because I couldn't find a physical. And this was just another impulse purchase, which kind of all the Senran Kagura games are, except the PS4 one. That one's going to not be. That one's going to be a predetermined one. And, I don't know if I really felt like I got my full $50 worth, but you know what? It's fine. I'll keep playing it. There's still more stuff to do. I beat the game on easy. There's still normal and hard. There's still more stuff to unlock. Then the gameplay's fun. It's one you can open up and just, play anywhere. I will say you can turn off the clothes ripping, which will be nice for when you're, on the bus and stuff, which, as I said, I did play this on the bus. I live my life on hard mode. But otherwise, if you guys want a sort of campy, fun, you pretty much don't need the story of the first one either. That's one thing. I didn't play the first one. I just sort of picked up on the story, and it kind of starts off at the final area. Like the first chapter is the entire final chapter of the first game, and you get a redone ending and stuff, and then you get the epilogue from that game as the second chapter, and it's like, at least I think so, because it definitely feels like the first two chapters of this game are right from the first game, just redone with new stuff, right? And hey, you know what? That's fine by me. It's you can jump in this as a newcomer and you'll pretty much be fine. It's interesting that the spin-off actually takes a lot more characterization and stuff, but like you learn more about the characters than in this one. But yeah, whatever. It's you gotta play them all to get the characters, and that's fine. I like that. I'd maybe wait to see if you can get it on sale. $40? It's probably good. And as I was saying, the physical version does come with a soundtrack, so I didn't get that. But you know what? That's fine. It's not the biggest deal. At least I'll get the physical version of the PS4 one with the soundtrack, art book, all that good stuff. Which I gotta say, I haven't talked about this before, but the Senran Kagura Shinobi Versus art book, because I got that, I just bought the game and they gave me the special edition because they had to get rid of them. It's actually the best art book of all time. It is so good, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with the PS4 art book, because wow, that, like, in terms of character data, author's notes that are really funny, full move lists and, you know, tactics for playing, that's really good. This is more of a review of the PS Vita one than this, but I guess that's the thing. I came out of this feeling just like, oh, this was good, but now I want to go back to playing the spin-offs, you know, so, but you know what? If you play these ones first and then go to the spin-offs, it'd probably be much better. You'll have a good time. But, no, it's like, if you can find this on sale, $40, I'm sure you'll have a good time with it. That's my quick review, 15 minutes. Oh, God. And yeah, I'm hoping to do more of these. Just, you know, whenever I finish a game, sit down, talk about how I felt about it. Mostly because Twitter character limits can't convey my whole message. And, yeah. Senran Kagura 2, Deep Crimson. I'm not going to give it a rating, just, yeah, you know, give it a look if you want. That's all I'm going to say, because as soon as a rating is given, then people start linking me on Metacritic, and then people start coming in and are like, whoa, you're gonna freaking collusion of the company. I don't know. Game review culture is scary, so I'm going to stay away from it. But yeah, that's my little thing. Thank you all for watching, guys, and we'll see us some more quick review vloggy things in the future. Ciao!